Good morning, dear students. I am Seema Gupta from FC College for Women, Hisar. Today I am going to discuss about the life cycle of ectocarpus. In the previous lecture, we have studied the morphology and anatomy of the ectocarpus, and in this lecture we will study about the life cycle, that is the reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. But before going into the detail, I would like to revise some topics so that we can have the connection with this reproduction. And the topics which I have included in this lecture, they are systematic position, morphological characters, just the brief morphological characters introduction, sporophytic plant body, gametophytic plant body, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, zoospore, gamete structure, life cycle, alternation of generation and economic importance. These subtopics they will be discussed in today's lecture. Systematic position. Ectocarpus, this genus, it belongs to the division Thallophyta as it has the thalloid plant body, and in the subdivision Algae because of the autotrophic nature. And this ectocarpus, it belongs to the class Phaeophyceae as the dominant photosynthetic pigments which are present in ectocarpus, they are fucoxanthin and beta carotenes, which imparts the brown color to the algae. And the order Ectocarpales, family Ectocarpaceae, and the name of the order and the family is on the basis of this genus Ectocarpus. Now, some general characters of the ectocarpus. This is in short I am going to explain you. This ectocarpus, it's a brown algae and it is marine algae. Chlorophyceae you have studied before. They are freshwater algae, but ectocarpus or the members of Phaeophyceae, they are marine algae, and in India it is present in the western coast. And generally the ectocarpus, it survives in the colder seas. The size of the ectocarpus is a small sized brown algae and its size varies from few centimeter to 30 centimeter. The cells are typically eukaryotic, but there are fucosal vesicles which are present in the vacuoles. The chlorophyll pigments, they are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, beta carotene, fucoxanthin and the violoxanthins, which imparts the, due to the presence of this fucoxanthin. This is a dominating pigment and it masks the color of chlorophyll. Color of chlorophyll is green, and due to the presence of this pigment and beta carotene it imparts the golden color and fucoxanthin brown color. So the ectocarpus, it looks like brownish, golden brown in color. Reserve food material, it is laminarian, fats and mannitol, which is an alcohol. Now I would like to tell something about the morphological features. You can see here it is like a tuft. The plant body, it is filamentous, and the filament, it is profusely branched. You can see here. And also you can notice that the points, they are here like they are tapering. The tips of the branches, they are ending in a hair, they are tapered. It is heterotrichous. Heterotrichous means there are two different kind of the filaments. One is prostrate and the another is the erect. Rhizoids, they are present on the prostrate system. You can see here the plurilocular sporangia, unilocular sporangia, and they are present on the erect branches. This is the gametophytic plant body. This is sporophytic plant body. Gametophytic plant body, it bears the gametangia. Plurilocular gametangia. Only one kind of the gametangia, they are present on the gametophytic plant body. The main function of the prostrate system, it is the anchorage. to the substratum, and the growth it varies. Growth in the prostrate system, it is apical growth, while in the erect system the growth is intercalary, and trichothelic intercalary meristems they are there, which gives the cells on both sides. The lower one, it gives the photosynthetic cell, and the upper cell, it adds the length of the hair. It is the reproductive organs. I have shown you that the plurilocular sporangia or the gametangia or unilocular sporangia, they all are associated with the erect system. This is generally attached with the substratum, and the erect system, it is free floating, and the prostrate system is mainly, it is creeping type, and the erect system, it is upright, and it arises, it develops from the prostrate system. So the ectocarpus, it has two kind of the branches, prostrate and the erect. Now we will come to the reproduction. In this lecture we will study in detail about the reproduction. There are two distinctive vegetative forms which are present, that is the sporophytic and the gametophytic. Sporophytic means diploid plant body, the plant which produces the spores, which bears the sporangia. Gametophytic plant body, this is the haploid, and it bears gametangia, and in the gametangia the gametes they are produced. If we see, then we will find that this haploid or the gametophytic phase or the diploid sporophytic phase, they are morphologically same, means if you will look at this, they will look similar. So this is known as the isomorphic. Iso means similar, morphic means morphologically look-wise. So the sporophytic and the gametophytic phases, they both look similar to each other, but in the laboratory conditions you can differentiate that the gametophytes, they are free floating, and sporophytes, they form the compact thalli that are attached to the substratum. Also we can differentiate the sporophytic and gametophytic body by the size. The gametophytes, they are comparatively small in size than the sporophytes. Both kind of reproduction you can find in the ectocarpus, that is asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, it is mainly by the formation of the zoospores, while the sexual reproduction, it ranges from isogamy, anisogamy or the oogamous. Although the oogamous type, it is generally it is absent in the ectocarpus. It is only the isogamy and the anisogamy, and it is the anisogamy which is more common, physiological anisogamy, which is more common in the ectocarpus. Okay, now we will see, this is the sporophytic plant body. Prostrate system, this is the erect system, the branches are profusely branched, erect system is there, and this is the enlarged view. You can see here unilocular sporangia and the plurilocular sporangia. This filament, it is monosiphonous, means the cells, they are in one row, only in a row, single row. So it is monosiphonous or uniseriate. Sporangia, they are born, any sporangia, maybe unilocular or the plurilocular sporangia. They are present at the tip of the lateral branches. They are present at the tip of the lateral branches. You can see, and these branches, they arise just below the septum. Okay, and they are, so if they are arising at the tip, it means they are terminal in position, and they are single, they are not in clusters, only one sporangia at one branch. The plurilocular sporangia, you can see here the stalk is there. So they may be stalked or they may be sessile. Similarly, small stalk may be there, but in unilocular sporangia they are generally sessile. Sessile means without stalk. Plurilocular sporangia, they are also known as neutral sporangia. They are also known as the neutral sporangia. They are elongated, they are cone-like and multicellular. And the cells, they undergo repeated mitotic divisions in plurilocular sporangia. There is no meiosis in the plurilocular sporangia. So each cell, because the plant body is diploid, it is the sporophyte. Sporophyte means the plant body, it is diploid. So each and every cell is diploid. So the spores which are produced in the plurilocular sporangia, they all are diploid in nature. And these cells which are formed, they will undergo mitotic divisions only, and each cubical cell, it will metamorphosis and it will turn into the mitozoospores. Mito word is used because it is only the mitotic division which is taking place. This diploid zoospore will germinate and then it will give the same sporophytic plant body. Because the spore is diploid, and when it will germinate, it will give the sporophytic plant body. Here you can see the development of the plurilocular sporangia. Initially what happens, this is the filament, this is the sporophytic plant body, this is the filament, this is the lateral branch arising just below the septum. This sporangial initial, the tip of the lateral branch, this sporangial initial, it enlarges in size, it undergoes repeated mitotic divisions and it forms 6 to 12 cells in one row. 6 to 12 cells in one row. Only the mitotic divisions are there, transverse divisions. And then it undergoes transverse and vertical divisions, forming 20 to 40 tiers of cells. So the structure, it elongated, it may be stalked, and each cubical cell, it will then get metamorphosed into the zoospore. It is the zoospore, and then you can see here, this is the mature. This is at the time of dehiscence, the apical pore may develop, and through these pores, after maturity, during the time of dehiscence, this plurilocular sporangia, it bursts from the pore, apical pore. This pore may be in the lateral position, but here in this diagram you see that it is in apical position, and these zoospores, they then get liberated through this pore. After germination, it will give this zoospore, it will give rise the sporophytic plant body. The protoplast of each cell, it has single nucleus and it is surrounded by the cytoplasm. This is how the plurilocular sporangium it looks like. This is the slide. In this slide you can see very well the structure of the plurilocular sporangium. Now about the unilocular sporangium. In the previous slides, you have seen that the filament with the unilocular sporangium, this unilocular sporangium, it is sessile. It is also at the terminal position, it at the lateral branch. This is the terminal cell of this lateral branch. The important thing which is there is that this nucleus, it undergoes the meiosis first. First, it will undergo meiotic division. Meiotic division, it is the reductional division. And after this, all the nuclei which will be produced, they all will be haploid in nature. And then those nuclei, they will undergo mitotic divisions, and then you will see that there will be 30 to 64 nuclei present in the unilocular sporangium. How many? 30 to 64 nuclei they are produced. Then each nucleus, they will be surrounded by the mass of the cytoplasm, the protoplasm, and then this unilocular sporangium, at the time of dehiscence, the apical pore or the terminal pore will be formed, and then these zoospores, they will be liberated from the unilocular sporangium. And the basic nature, the filament is sporophytic. This unilocular sporangium, it is present on the sporophytic plant body, but as this unilocular sporangium, it undergoes meiotic division first, so all the zoospores which are formed, they are haploid in nature. So they are also known as myospores. Myo means it is zoospores which are produced after meiosis. So to differentiate, because these mitozospores, myozospores, they are similar in structure. So to differentiate them, we say it is myozospores because it is formed after meiotic divisions, and mitozospores, they are diploid in nature. Myozospores, they are haploid in nature. The myozospores, then it similarly mitozospore or myozospore, they settle on the substratum, they retract their flagella and round off, and then the germination will start, and these germination, they will produce a tubular structure and filamentous structure. This filament, it will develop into the prostate system, and from the prostate system the erect branches, they will arise. So the thallus which will be produced from the myozospores, it will be haploid in nature, it will give the gametophytic plant body. But if it is the diploid formed from the plurilocular sporangia, if it is mitozospore, it will give the sporophytic plant body. It will give the sporophytic plant body after germination. This is how the unilocular sporangia, it looks like. So just in the table form, you can see how the unilocular sporangia and plurilocular sporangia, they differ. Unilocular sporangia are the sporangia that consist of single loculus or cavity or chamber. Uni means one, locular means chamber or the cavity. While in the plurilocular, pluri means many, it consists of several compartments. We have seen it in the previous slides. Common at the cooler temperatures, and generally plurilocular sporangia, they are common at the warmer temperature. It composed of a single cell, while the plurilocular sporangia, you have seen there are many cuboidal cells. It is ellipsoidal, it is spherically elongated structures. They produce haploid zoospores, because in the unilocular sporangia, meiosis, it takes place, so the zoospores which are produced, they are haploid in nature, while in this case, in the plurilocular sporangia, the zoospores which are produced, they are diploid in nature. Now the structure of the zoospore, maybe mitozospore or the myozospore, as I mentioned, both the structures, they are same. So you can see this shape. It is the pyriform or the pear shape or kidney shape, reniform, oval, and it is a biflagellated spore. You can see here two flagella, and these flagella, they are present at the lateral side. It is not at the apical side. You have studied in the Chlamydomonas, volvox, the anteriorly placed flagella, but in this case, the flagella, they are present at the lateral side. And also one thing which is important here, in the members of Phaeophyce, that the flagella, they are of two different kinds. The size also varies, the type also varies. The one which is towards the anterior side, it is fibril-like. This is known as the tinsel flagella, and this is which is smooth, it is known as the whiplash type, or we also say at the acronematic flagella. Acronematic, and this is known as the pentonematic, the tinsel type, pentonematic flagella. So two different kind of the flagella they are present. So this behavior is known as the heterocont. Uninucleated zoospore, it is uninucleated, and the nucleus it is centrally placed in the zoospore. Eye spot is present. Chromatophores, this is the chromatophore, and in the chromatophore there are naked pyrenoids are present. Naked pyrenoid means the pyrenoid without the starch sheet. It only the proteinaceous body is there without the starch, as the starch is not the reserve food material in Phaeophyce. Now the structure of the gametophyte. Morphologically, the structure of gametophytic plant body is same. It is similar to the sporophytic plant body. But the size, as I mentioned, that it is comparatively small in size. Gametophytes, they are comparatively small in size than the sporophytes. Sexual reproduction, it takes place in gametophytic plant body. In the sporophytic plant body, asexual reproduction takes place, while in the gametophytic plant body, sexual reproduction takes place. It bears the plurilocular gametangia because it is the reproductive organ which is the sporangia. It is in the sporophytic plant body, we say it is the sporangia. In the gametophytic plant body, we call it as the gametangia. The organ which bears gametes or which produce gametes are known as the gametangia. So on the gametophytic plant body, gametangia are present, and only one kind of the gametangia is there, that is the plurilocular. The development procedure, it is same in the gametangia as the plurilocular sporangia. Gametangia are also large, elongated. They may be sessile or with the short stalk multicellular structure, and they produce haploid gametes. Gametes, they are always haploid in nature. That is the one set of chromosome. This is the structure of the gamete. This is the enlarged view. The spore, it also look like this. Maybe the gamete or zoospore you can say. The structure, this you can see here, it is the oval or pyriform structure, and here the two kind of the flagella, they are laterally placed. One, this is fibrillar like, this is smooth wall, whiplash type, this is tensile type, centrally placed. Nucleus is there, Golgi bodies, mitochondria, chromatophores. This is the eye spot which is present. So it is same. Gamete size structure is same to that of the spore, but the size of the gamete is smaller than the zoospore, and also the zoospores, they are diploid in nature. They are diploid. Two sets of chromosomes are there, while in gametes it is haploid, that is with the one set of chromosome. And in the structure of gamete, similar to the zoospore, sexual reproduction is of, in Ectocarpus, it is isogamous or anisogamous type. Isogamous means if the fusion of gametes the gametes which are undergoing the sexual reproduction or the fusion it takes place, the gametes, if they are of the same kind, morphologically, size, shape, behavior, physiological activity, if they are same, they are from the same gametangia, then if the fusion of such kind of the gametes it take place, it is known as the isogamy. Anisogamy, if the gametes they are of different kind. Anisogamy, it may be of two kind, morphological anisogamy and the physiological anisogamy. Morphological anisogamy means if the fusing gametes, they are structure wise, shape wise, if one is big, another is small. The small one will be known as the male gamete and the larger one will be known as the female gamete, and if the fusion takes place in such kind of the gametes, it is known as the morphological anisogamy. And the example is Ectocarpus secundus. Isogamy, the example is Ectocarpus globifer. Physiological anisogamy means morphologically the gametes, which the fusing gametes, they are same, but behavior wise one is more active and another is less active. The one which is more active is known as the male gamete, and the one which is comparatively less active or more passive, it is known as the female gamete. And if the fusion take place in such kind of the gametes, then it is known as the physiological anisogamy, and the example is Ectocarpus siliculosus. During fertilization, clump formation takes place. I will explain you. Two gametes fuse to form the zygospores. Zygospore on germination develops into the sporophytic plant body, and reduplication of gametophytic plant body takes place parthenocarpically from the female gamete. In the next slides, I will explain it in detail. This is the isogamy. You will see that the gametes which are fusing, they are produced from the same gametangia. They are same in size and shape and in activity. If the fusion takes place like this, then fusing gametes, zygote formation is there. This is known as the isogamy. Anisogamy, if they are from the different filaments, from the different gametangia, plurilocular gametangia, and they may be from the same filament, but the gametangia, they are different. So this gametangia, you see that this is small in size, this is large in size. This is known as the microgametangia. Micro means small. This is macrogametangia, means large size. This will produce the female gametes, large size gametes. This will produce the gametes which are smaller in size. If the fusion takes place in such a way of different kind of the flagella, it is the morphological anisogamy. It is morphological anisogamy. Here also we are looking at the morphological anisogamy here, because the female gamete is large in size. You see the clump formation is there. Clump formation means this is the female gamete, and many male gametes, they are attached with the female gamete with the anterior flagellum, tinsel type, large size flagellum, but only one out of so many, they will be successful to attach with the female gamete. They will retract their flagella and fusion takes place and the zygote formation will take place. This is the clump formation, this is the fertilization, and this is how the many gametes, male gametes, they will try to attach it, but this is the female gamete, and then the fertilization take place, and after first it will the plasmogamy, then the karyogamy will take place, and the zygote or the zygospore, it will be produced. After the formation of the zygote, this will immediately undergo the germination. It will germinate and will produce a tubular structure, a filamentous structure. This will give rise to the prostate system, and from the prostate system, the erect branches, they will arise. And as the zygote is diploid in nature, all the divisions which are taking place, they are mitotic. So the filament which is produced here, it is diploid in nature. So it will give rise to the sporophytic plant body. Remember, it is not the haploid plant body, it is the sporophytic plant body, and the chromosome 2n composition of Ectocarpus is 16 chromosomes. 2n is equal to 16. This is the diagrammatic graphic life cycle of Ectocarpus. You can see here that this is a sporophytic plant body. It will give rise to the plurilocular sporangia. They will bear zoospores and then sporophytic plant body. This is also, it will produce unilocular sporangia. Unilocular sporangia will give the zoospores, myozoospores. Myozoospores, they will germinate, will give rise to the gametophytic plant body. 50% may give rise to the male gametophyte, 50% will become the female gametophyte. They will also bear the plurilocular gametangia. From the plurilocular gametangia, two different kind of the gametes or the same kind. They may be produced, they are known as the male gamete and the female gamete. They will join, fertilization will take place, zygote will be formed, and then this zygote will give rise to the sporophytic plant body. Another view, and you can also make like this: ectocarpus sporophytic body, plurilocular sporangia, unilocular sporangia, asexual reproduction by the help of zoospore, sexual reproduction from the unilocular sporangia, meiosis will take place, it will bear zoomeospores, will give rise to the gametophytic plant body. This zoomeospore will give the gametophytic plant body, they will produce gametangia, fertilization will take place, zygote will be formed, and this zygote will give rise to the ectocarpus sporophytic plant body. Diagrammatically you can show like this: plurilocular, unilocular, zoospore, meiospore, germination, gametophytic plant body, gametangia, plurilocular gametangia, gametes, clump formation, fertilizations, zygote, germination, sporophytic plant body. This is the alternation of generation. You can see here in the ectocarpus that there are two different kind of the plant bodies, two different vegetative phases, that is the sporophytic and the gametophytic, and these two phases they alternate. They come one after the another. Here this is the diploid filament. Different colors are chosen here to show that this is the diploid filament. This bears the plurilocular and the unilocular sporangia. In unilocular, meiosis take place. So from the sporophytic plant body, gametophytic plant body, and from the gametophytic plant body, the gametes are produced. They undergo fertilization. Diploid zygote is formed. This diploid zygote, it gives rise to the sporophytic plant body. So from the sporophyte, gametophyte, from the gametophyte, the sporophyte, it takes formation, it takes place. So this is known as the diplohaplontic type of the life cycle. This is also known as the isomorphic alternation of generation, because both the generations, sporophytic and the gametophytic, they are same morphologically. So this is isomorphic alternation of generation. It is also the diplohaplontic type of the life cycle. Diplo word is used first because the main dominating phase is the diploid plant body. Also, reduplication takes place in here. One way is this, that from sporophyte to gametophyte, from gametophyte, zygote, and then sporophyte. But this diploid phase, it reduplicates from the plurilocular sporangia, because these plurilocular sporangia, they will give the spores, zoospores, mitozospores, which are diploid, and they will germinate and will give the sporophytic plant body. Also, gametophyte, it can be reduplicated if the gametes which are produced here, they fail to undergo fertilization, and parthenogenetically, this gamete, it will germinate and will give rise to the, because it is haploid in nature, and when it will germinate, it will give rise to the gametophytic plant body. So in this way, reduplication of gametophyte and the reduplication of sporophyte, it also takes place in ectocarpus. Now what is the economic importance of ectocarpus? Ectocarpus, it is economically important. Many of the members of Phaeophyceae, they are edible. They are used as the food and fodder, like Laminaria, Sargassum, Macrocystis. These are some of the genera which are present in the Phaeophyceae. They are edible. Brown algae play an important role in marine environment, both as food and for the habitats. We have seen that the ectocarpus, it grows epiphytically on the other brown algae. So they form the habitat for not only for the ectocarpus but for other marine animals and plants. Fucus and Laminaria, they are rich in iodine. So commercially also we can get iodine from the Fucus and Laminaria and treat as medicinally. We can use it for the patients which are suffering from goiter, while Macrocystis, it's rich in potash. phycocolloids which are present in the cell wall of the Phaeophyce members. And the phycocolloids, mainly the algin and fucoidin, they are the very important secondary metabolites produced in Phaeophyce, and they are generally used as the thickeners in toothpaste, ice cream, shaving creams, soaps, shampoos. They are also used in beer. Phycocolloids, they are also used in medicines, in antibiotics, in vermifuge properties, formation of pills, tablets, and surgical threads. So it is medicinally, it has its importance. Also, the phycocolloids, they are used in formation, in manufacturing of the flame proof plastics. These are the useful effects of the Phaeophyce, but also there are negative role of the Phaeophyce because they are very large in size in the oceans, and when the ships, they cause the fouling of the ships. They just damages the ships. Sometimes they get entangled with the ships, and also with the lower part of the ships they are attached and cause the fouling of the ships. So these are the economic importance, and thank you so much. Thank you for your patience for listening it. Thank you.